So I've already gone out to the Access S2 folder and I've opened up 2-WE employees. And once you open this, you are probably going to have to enable the content. And then you're going to notice there is a table in this database already. And if you double click on it, it's got employee information. When you are looking at a table, there are two views. And a view is just a way of looking at the table. So tables have two views. There's datasheet view, which we are in. And then there's also something called design view, which we are going to be using right now. So datasheet view is typically used to enter your records, the actual data. You can modify your table structure, meaning you can, modify the fields, but in general, this view is for entering data. The other view is called design view, and this very first button on the home ribbon lets you switch between views. So if I click the button, that takes me to design view. And if I click it again, it takes me to datasheet view. So you can kind of flip back and forth. Design view is only used to modify the table structure, which means you use this view to enter fields, to change fields, or to change the properties of the fields. You'll notice at the top, this is where the field names are and the data types are. And then at the bottom, this is where the field properties are. So if you wanted to change the size, you would do it at the bottom here. And if you wanted to add a caption, you would also do that in this bottom field properties section. How I normally enter tables is through design view, because it is the best way to create the table structure. Now we're going to close out of the employee table. We're going to be creating a new benefit table. So we're going to go into create, and we're going to select table design. And that takes us right into design view. And typically the first field that you enter is your primary key. And we are going to be entering employee ID. So we're going to type that right into field name. And then to get over to data type, we are going to press tab. And by default, it has everything as short text. And in this case, short text is fine. So we're just going to press tab. The description is optional. However, they do want us to enter descriptions for the fields in this table. So we're going to go ahead. Enter the description. And you can kind of see from the description that they do want a size of 4. So we're going to come down to field size. And we're going to change to 55 to 4. And we'll kind of click in the next field name row here. And for our next field name, we have pension plan. And again, you're not putting spaces in these field names. They typically don't have spaces in them. If they're multiple words like this, the beginning of the second word is capitalized. So we've got pension plan, and then we're going to tab over to data type. And the data type for this is going to be a yes, no. So you can click on the arrow and you can choose yes, no. And then we'll go over to description. And they want click or press spacebar for yes. leave empty for no. And then I'm just going to tab to the next line. And for the next line, oops, we're going to go back up to pension plan because they did want us to set a default value here. So if you click on pension plan, where it says default value, no, we are going to change that to yes. And then we're going to come back up to the row below pension plan. And we're going to key in dental plan. Now this is a yes, no as well. And instead of clicking on that little arrow, you can just type a Y for yes, and it'll fill it in. Kind of a little shortcut that makes entering the fields go a little bit quicker. And in general, for the different data types, you can usually press the first letter of the data type that you want, and it will fill it in. Now for this one, they do not want us to change the default. So we're just going to press tab. And then we get to health plan. That is a yes, no. So we're going to do a Y for yes. Enter the little description here. And then they do want this one to have a default of yes. So we're just going to change no to yes. And then we'll click on the row below. And then we've got dependents. And dependents is a number. So we're just going to do an N for number. Press tab. And the description is type the number of dependents related to this employee. Pressing tab. Then we've got life insurance, which is abbreviated. And that is going to be displayed as currency. So we are going to do a C for currency. And remember, the difference between number and currency is that currency displays with a dollar sign. And then for the description, we've got type the amount of life insurance subscribed by this employee. Now, once you key in all of your fields and you've modified the properties, you have to specify a primary key because Access has a cow if you try to save your table without a key. So we're going to click up here next to Employee ID. So you'll notice I went into the little gray box and I got the selector arrow and I clicked on Employee ID. And now I'm going to click on primary key because that is the field that is unique that should be the primary key. Primary keys are unique identifiers of the table. Okay, so no employee is going to have the same ID. So we're going to, at this point, we've got all of our fields, the data types, the descriptions, we've changed our properties, specified the primary key. We are ready to save it. So we're going to click on Save, and the name of the table is Benefits. And you'll notice that once you save it, the little tab now says Benefits instead of Table 1. Now you do want to keep this open because the next section, we are going to be modifying some additional properties for some of our fields.